Are you attracted to men who are socially confident?
Yes. I mean, I personally like somebody who's able to speak for themselves and is confident, because it's just nice. It's nice to see. You don't want somebody who's really shy and quiet.
Social confidence is an increasingly rare trait for men, and this is not good news because women like men who are good in social situations. It demonstrates competence and an ability to understand people. Being socially confident means that you can successfully pick up on emotional vibes and subtle social cues. But lots of men these days are not feeling socially confident, and that is not a surprise. It's because they're not getting a lot of positive social feedback, and nobody wants a confidence based on an illusion. Then you're just a crazy person.
If a man was naturally shy but wanted to get a girlfriend, would you advise him to increase his social confidence or just be himself?
Just to be himself. Because if you're looking for a long-term relationship, you need to be who you are as a person, because you can't fake it for a while.
Here's the thing though, confidence is not a universal trait. You can feel confident in some situations and insecure in others. Who you truly are is not fixed. It varies based on context. There's really no such thing as a true self, a fixed identity, because the self is always defined in relationship to its environment. The reason I'm doing this video is because in my private consultations, I see the same issue coming up again and again. I'm talking to guys who are very successful and confident in lots of areas of their life. They've got good careers, good friends, good body, they're working out, they're in shape, they're kind, they're intelligent, they're ethical. These aren't guys that lack confidence. They have high self-esteem. They know they're doing well in life. This is all confirmed to them because they look around and they see positive feedback coming back to them saying, yes, you are doing well. They see evidence around them of their own competence. They see their success, their ability to solve problems and to reach goals. This is all feedback that inspires confidence and creates self-esteem. The problem is though that all of that confidence doesn't automatically transfer into all areas of life. Specifically, I'm talking about women. Just because you're in good shape, you have a good job, you make good money, it doesn't mean that you're automatically good with women. So a lot of the guys that I talk to, they lack confidence in this key area of their lives, dating and relationships. Why would these guys be confident when it comes to women when there's a complete absence of any positive feedback? Now, if a guy has lots of girls chasing him, wanting to be his girlfriend, wanting to go on dates with him, well then yes, he has reason to be confident. But that is not the experience of most men. Most men have difficulty finding any women to show interest in them. Even good-looking guys might approach 10, 15 women before one of them shows any kind of interest. Why would he be confident when there's such a huge discrepancy? For every 5 girls that he likes, maybe only 1 girl likes him back, or maybe none. The consequence of this is that lots of men end up feeling crazy. I'm not being flippant, I actually mean crazy, as in this world is completely nuts and there's no way of understanding it. They're thinking, well, this doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. On the one hand, I've got these great prospects, I've got a good career, and I have high self-esteem. On the other hand, dating is such a grind. There's so much rejection, there's so much unrequited love, there's so little positive feedback that I have low self-esteem. This dichotomy completely throws them off. They're thinking to themselves, well, which one am I? Do I have high self-esteem or do I have low self-esteem? What is my worth? What is my value? Which feedback should I trust? Do I back the judgment of myself and feel confident? Or do I listen to the feedback that I'm getting from women and not be confident? Men feel crazy because they don't know what to do with this conflicting information. Men don't know how to feel about themselves. Should they have confidence or not? Should they feel pride or should they feel shame? Here is what men need to understand, and I really mean that. They need to understand this. This information is not some luxury item. This is absolutely a necessity. If you want to have healthy self-esteem and not feel crazy, then you need to internalize this. As a man, you will not get accurate feedback of your worth from the dating market. You cannot allow your self-esteem to be held hostage by the social feedback that you get from women. The reason is that the feedback that you get as a man is heavily skewed against you. Women, you see, have the opposite problem. The feedback that they get is too skewed in their favor. Neither is good because you're not getting accurate feedback. What I'm saying is that you cannot solely judge your desirability as a man based on the opinions of women. The response that you get from women in the dating market is an inaccurate feedback mechanism, and I'm going to explain why. There are 2 factors that skew the data: biology and culture. Let's start with biology. When young men look at women the same age and see how much attention they're getting, how many men are hitting on them, asking for phone numbers, asking for dates, they think, why aren't I getting that same level of attention? What is wrong with me? If she's got all of those men pursuing her, then she must be a lot more desirable than I am. It is not true. That is a fallacy. You cannot compare men and women's experiences. Look at what comes naturally to both genders. Men are the pursuers, and that's not just in humans, that's in basically all species in the animal kingdom. When you look at nature, you see that the males are always doing these mating dances, putting on a show. This is because biologically, it is men's role to impress women, to entice them to mate with them. The males are the ones that do the pursuing, and to a certain extent, it's a numbers game. There are some species of birds that will create this extravagant, extraordinary nest, and then spend the entire breeding system putting on these displays, these performances for all the women that come and go. Over the whole breeding system, there's probably hundreds of women who witness this dance, but only one or two of them might actually end up mating with him. He might want to mate with them all, but he's only going to be successful a couple of times. But even if he only gets to mate with one or two of the female birds, that's all that he needs. He isn't a failure. Even if his strike rate is only 2 out of 100, that doesn't mean that he's in the bottom 98th percentile of birds. That's just the male mating strategy. That's how it works. Evolution has designed you to be attracted to variety, to be sexually responsive to lots of different women. Biology doesn't really care about your self-esteem issues. It just wants you to reproduce. That's why it floods you with these hormonal incentives that are trying to get you to have sex with as many different women as you can. My point is that you can't take rejection seriously. You weren't meant to succeed with every single woman. That's just not realistic. Don't put those kind of crazy expectations on yourself. Even if you become this high value guy who's super successful, really suave, if you're imagining that every single woman who meets you is just gonna open up her legs and invite you in, you're delusional. It doesn't work like that. Even the biggest success stories of our culture, CEOs, celebrities, they still get rejected plenty. This is biology. This isn't personal. So please do yourself a favor and lower your expectations, because it's always going to be this way. This isn't some modern phenomena, the result of our most recent cultural trends. Both of my grandmothers turned down a huge number of marriage proposals before settling for my grandfathers. Biology isn't fair. Biology isn't equal. Women will always have more men pursuing them than the opposite way around. So while biology does underpin all of this, that doesn't mean that culture isn't playing its role. Things have changed a lot since my grandmother's day. Women have the biological instinct of hypergamy. That's the instinct to mate with the highest value man that they can find. Now, it used to be that we lived in these small communities, and so the average man was just competing with other guys from his village, from his tribe. Maybe he's not impressive enough to capture the heart of the most desirable girl, but he's a decent guy, and he's going to be able to get a decent girl. You can imagine how all the young people in a village might pair off. The top boy goes with the top girl, the second top boy goes with the second top girl, and so forth until everybody's got a partner. Nowadays, though, the communities that we live in are global. The village is now the city or the country. Never before has a man had to compete with so many other men. What this has led to is hypergamy gone wild. Women can spend their days looking at male celebrities on their phones, talking to matches on dating apps, scrolling through their Instagram feed, looking at all the compliments they're getting from men in their DMs. Women no longer have this small group of men from their village that they have to choose from. It seems as though there is this endless supply of men. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that a good-looking girl has thousands of followers now, all desperate to be with her. This sort of abundance has led to unrestrained hypergamy, and now women's standards are very, very high. Women see how much attention they're getting, and they conclude that they must be extremely desirable. So why would they settle? Why wouldn't they hold out for a top guy? But of course, all of the women are thinking the exact same thing. They're rejecting all of the average guys and still holding out for a top tier man. This is one of the reasons why more people are single now than ever before. In just 10 years, for young people aged 18 to 29, there was a 20% jump in single rates. In order to really have a chance in today's dating market, you need to be a seriously high value guy. Otherwise, the likelihood is that you're just going to be ignored, or you're going to have to settle for a low quality woman. But all of this is why it's an absolute necessity that you understand that as a man, the dating market is skewed against you, biologically and culturally. You could be a great guy, really successful in all areas of your life, but because you don't get the kind of positive feedback in the dating market that you want, you could conclude that you're a low value guy. You try and reconcile these different sources of self-esteem and you end up feeling crazy. What conclusion are you meant to reach about your own desirability when your own feelings about yourself are not reflected by the women around you? Let me tell you, you are not crazy. Just because you don't get the kind of feedback that you want from women does not mean that you're a low value guy. I'm not saying that you should ignore women's opinions, not at all. It is really important that you listen to the feedback that women are giving you, but you need to do so in the appropriate context. I'm talking, of course, of the biological context, you're a man, and the modern context of our culture with this crazy dating market that we find ourselves with. When you factor those two things in, you might not be doing as badly as you think.